Hi and welcome. I'm glad you're here. For today's workshop, I recommend that you have some paper and a writing utensil so that you can take notes as we go through the material. I want to introduce myself and tell you a bit of my story. My name is Danielle Bradshaw. I'm a mother and a student at BYU Idaho studying public health. My journey with Talk Against Weed started back in 2020. My oldest child was 14. And at the age of 14, he was offered marijuana on multiple occasions. And eventually he chose to partake and use marijuana. It never became a daily thing, but it was more often than it should have been. He had a friend who was concerned and, lucky for us, confided in their parent, who then told us, and we were able to get involved. I want you to know that I'm here today with you because I care. I care about you as a fellow parent, and I care about your children because I know that they hold our future in their hands. I'd like to take a minute and have you write down your why. Why are you here? Why are you at this workshop? And what are you hoping to get from this course? The Bradley Hospital in Rhode Island, they have short little snippets that they put out that are called Parenting Matters Minute. And this one is with Dr. Chelsea Newman. Before we discuss what Dr. Newman taught, I want to share with you some statistics. 1 in 8 of our children, ages 12 to 17, use marijuana every year. And 1 in 6 of those children will become addicted. So what can we do to help prevent our children from becoming the one in those statistics? In the video, Dr. Newman gave 5 suggestions. She said, talk to your teen, set clear expectations and consistent consequences, monitor their friends and activities, and maintain open communication. The first step is talking with your teen. This should be done before they even leave elementary school. It should be done before they're ever even introduced to marijuana, or hopefully before you ever suspect that they've used it. However, if those opportunities have passed, it's okay. Just start where you are. So again, I want you to write in your notes, write, what is my personal stance on marijuana use and why? And then when we conclude the workshop, you can go back and answer that question. But I want you to think about that because that will be key when you speak with your child. But you need to simply and casually just tell your child how you feel about marijuana. Or if you're unsure about your personal stance, then include your child in your research and come up with a decision together. Your personal feelings on the use of marijuana will make a huge difference in your child's choices. Studies show that children are 50% less likely to use marijuana if they know that their parents or caregivers disapprove. The next step Dr. Newman gives is set clear expectations and consequences. This means you tell your child your specific wants when it comes to marijuana. With my son, we told him, 1, we don't ever want you to use marijuana of any kind or in any way. We told him that if he was ever offered it, that we hoped he would decline. We told him that if he was with people who were smoking pot, that we wanted him to leave. And if he couldn't, then he was supposed to call us so that we could come and get him. And we told him that if he ever did smoke weed again, because he already had, we told him that we wanted him to tell us because we would rather know that he was being open and honest with us. And we would rather hear it from him than from someone else. So those were the guidelines that we had set. But each family is going to choose different expectations. They're also going to choose different consequences. And if you have more than one child, you may have different expectations and consequences for each of your children. And it's okay to not treat them all the same because every situation and child is different. So I have a couple tips for you for setting consequences. One, don't decide on a consequence in the moment. You need to determine beforehand what your consequences are. When you give your expectations, make sure you give the consequences for breaking or not meeting that expectation. It's best if you talk through all expectations and consequences with your child and write them down and put them somewhere so that you can go back and view them whenever needed. And second, don't give out consequences you can't maintain. There's no way that you are going to keep track of your child if you ground them for the next month or 3 months. Many parents tell their children that they're not allowed to hang out with certain friends, and they try and keep them from those people that are maybe having a bad impact or a negative impact on their child. However, you really can't control who your child does or doesn't see once they leave your house. So it's better to just advise them on people you don't want them to be around and why. But recognize that they may choose to still see that person. The next thing Dr. Newman talked about was monitoring your child's friends and activities. And like I said before, you can't really keep them from seeing people you don't want them to. However, it is important that you at least let them know maybe why you don't want them to be with certain people and ask them who they are going to be with and what they plan on doing. And your child may lie to you, but it's still important to ask and give them that opportunity to be open and honest with you. The last suggestion is to keep an open line of communication. Make sure that your child knows of your love and that they feel comfortable talking with you. You also need to listen to your child and their thoughts and feelings, because when a child feels heard, they're more inclined to listen. Though it may be hard, try not to show anger or resentment toward your child. Try not to make them feel like they're a bad person or pass judgment on them or their peers for making poor choices. And remember to have a conversation and not a lecture. Talking with your teen plays an important part in the choices they make. However, no one can guarantee that they will always make the right choices. That is why it's important to talk openly and often with your child. The more you talk, the better chance you'll have of catching problems in the beginning before they get out of hand. I hope that this workshop was helpful. If you watched the end of this video, there's a list of resources that can give you further guidance on ways to talk to your teen and other statistics that have to do with marijuana use. That's all for today. Now go and have a conversation. Good luck.